welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany and I am a brand new homeschooling mom to two kiddos, Bernie age 5 and Desi age 3, and this is the salter side of life. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. When I first started researching homeschooling for our family, I was bombarded with information, and the way that I chose to wade through all of that was to reach out to the online homeschooling community. The parents and educators that I talked to were amazing. They were supportive and helpful, and this channel is my way of paying it forward. So through my tips, resources, and lessons learned, I'm hoping that I'm able to help those of you who are just getting started as well. So if you watch a video and you like it, please click that thumbs up, give us a like, share it with those who you think would benefit from it as well, and don't forget to head over and click that subscribe button as well as the bell notification so that you can see the next time I post some content. Now, little disclaimer, I am not an educator, I am not a seasoned homeschool mom, but I am one who is willing to be honest and transparent about all the things that we're learning on our homeschooling journey and share those with you. So, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Today, we are talking about curriculum. I am so excited to share this video to show you guys a couple of the things that we're using this year for Bernie's kindergarten curriculum. Now, I do have a separate post that I put up about Desi's preschool curriculum, so please check that video out. But today is all about kindergarten, and I will be going through language arts, math, science, social studies / geography, Spanish, and art. Now, if you guys watch this video and you're interested in seeing a more in-depth look about the curriculum that we are using, or maybe some of the additional resources that I might be using for a particular subject, head into the comments, let me know. I definitely don't mind making another video about a particular book or resource that we're using. So let's get started with language arts. We are using a couple of different resources for language arts this year. The first one for reading is Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. Now, we actually started with this book during Bernie's pre-K year, made it to lesson 40, so we'll pick this back up at lesson 41 when we start his pre-K year, and this has been just the most wonderful addition to our language arts curriculum. The lessons progress in difficulty, but they do so subtly, and the curriculum does such a great job of reinforcing the things that your child learns in the previous lessons that it builds that confidence that they need to tackle those further lessons as they increase in difficulty. For handwriting, we are sticking with handwriting without tears. We did use the Kickstart to Kindergarten workbook during Bernie's pre-K year, so we're just progressing forward into letters and numbers for me. And I'll give you a little flip through of that so that you guys can see what it looks like on the inside. And also, we'll probably use this later in the year for Bernie, but I also picked up Building Writers. And while letters and numbers for me pretty much concentrates on the formation of letters and numbers and how to write them, Building Writers focuses more on types of writing and how to write. So for example, they go through, I'm gonna find the page, narrative writing, information writing, and opinion argument writing. And you can see in the book, they just have different exercises for your child to complete. Now, for Kickstart to Kindergarten last year, I did not buy the teacher's manual, but for letters and numbers for me, I purchased the teacher's manual off thriftbooks.com. I was able to get it at a pretty good discounted rate, and I'm so glad I purchased the teacher's manual for this one because they have lots of extras in there, supplemental activities to help your child better understand the formation of letters and numbers, and then also things just like pencil grip, things that you can do to help the actual mechanics of writing. So I definitely would suggest picking up the teacher's manual for letters and numbers for me. Now, Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons is only going to last us about the first 2.5 terms of our homeschool year. We are year-round homeschoolers, so we do 6 weeks on, 1 week off. A term for us is 6 weeks, so it'll last us maybe about 15 weeks. After that, we are going to move into Explode the Code to continue phonics mastery. Now, on the Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons Facebook group, a lot of parents stated that they moved to Explode the Code after they got done with Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons. So for Bernie, we will be going through Explode the Code Book 1, and then Explode the Code Book 2, and then we also have the teacher's manual for those books. Now, I got these off of christianbook.com. I'd highly recommend getting them off that website because I was able to get all 3 of these books for $25 with shipping, whereas the last time I checked for book 1 on Amazon, it was about $17 just by itself. Math this year is a curriculum that I am super excited about and very proud and confident in my choice that I made. We are using Math with Confidence. This book gets so many great reviews if you talk to other homeschooling parents who use it. The main reasons why we chose it, number one, it is for a tactile learner. So it's a very hands-on curriculum. My Bernie is a tactile learner, and so I really wanted a math curriculum where he was able to work with objects, math manipulatives, to learn the concepts in the book. Also, it's very budget friendly. A lot of the things that you need for the lessons are things that you would find around your house. So for example, in one of the first lessons, you just need a pair of shoes to complete the lesson. And so it doesn't really get any more simple than that. The third reason why I bought this book, or curriculum, excuse me, was because they tell you exactly what you need to know and exactly what you need to say to teach your child a concept. You know, I'm not a math teacher. Math was not my strong suit in school. So to have a curriculum that breaks it down for me actually helps me be more prepared and feel more supported in teaching it to Bernie. And the last reason why we chose Math with Confidence was because it incorporates books. So every week, the lessons that you have a corresponding book that helps reinforce the lessons that you're learning during that week. So this is the teacher's manual for it. You do need the teacher's manual. It also comes with a student workbook. So there is some workbook work, which Bernie won't mind. And to be honest, it's actually really cute on the inside. It has very colorful pages. And honestly, I was actually going through the curriculum the other day to kind of see where, you know, what lessons would hit on what days for us. And it's really just like one workbook page a lesson. It's not an overwhelming amount of workbook work. You're actually doing more activities. So I got both of these, the teacher's manual and the student workbook, off of Amazon, and I believe the bundle was like $38 and I got it on sale. So definitely check Amazon for this. In addition to Math with Confidence, I have 2 other resources that we'll be using as supplements. One is Evan Moore, Skill Sharpeners Math. Love Evan Moore. We basically use their pre-K skill sharpeners math for Bernie's like entire math curriculum last year for pre-K. We just built on what was in the book, did activities related to it, and he really loved the workbook. And the thing that I like about them is that, so they have some traditional workbook pages, right? But then there's also a lot of gluing, there's cutting, different games. So it's much more than just, you know, your average traditional workbook. The last thing that we have for math that I'm showing today, because you know I have like a completely different bin of stuff that we can pull from. I know everybody probably does. But today, the last thing I'm going to show you is the Wild Math curriculum for kindergarten. So I actually bought this a couple of years ago, and I had this dream that I was going to be a super nature, you know, one with the earth, let's get outside, outdoorsy mom. That's not me. Bugs, heat, humidity, where I live particularly. It just didn't really happen, but I'm not giving up on it, okay? And if you have it and you haven't used it, don't give up on it either, because it really does have some neat activities in it. And I think for those days when we can tolerate the weather, we will be able to get outside, do some math while we're enjoying the environment. That's it for math. Let's look at science. Bernie loves science. All things science, it is his jam. So I put a lot of time and energy into our science curriculum this year. Now, I didn't buy an open and go similar to what I have for math and language arts. I actually put Bernie's science curriculum together based on a couple of books. And so I will have a deep dive into our kindergarten science curriculum that I will also be posting. However, I did want to go through a couple of the resources that we have and just give a little bit of an overview of what we're doing. So first and foremost, I will be setting a really solid foundation for Bernie this year in terms of what is science, what is the scientific method, and what are the different branches of science, and what do those scientists do. And to accomplish that, I found this book, Scientist Academy. It is a Kane Miller publishing book, so you can get it off of the Usborne website. I actually just ended up getting it off Amazon. Some of the exercises are a little older for Bernie, but I'm going to be able to make it work. Now, basically what this book does is it takes you through different areas of science and have you complete exercises related to what those scientists do in those areas of science. So it goes through laboratory scientists, investigative scientists, space scientists, earth scientists, and then also life scientists. Just to give you an idea of what some of the experiments are like, this one is about the chemist. So it has some information up there about what chemists do. And then they have an experiment here where you're using lemon juice and heat to reveal a message. And then once the child completes the experiment, they'll put a sticker down there at the bottom. And so really the first part of our school year, we're just going to be working through this. I'll pull YouTube videos, other fiction and nonfiction books to cover the different areas of science that we're looking at. But basically, Bernie's going to be a little scientist in training for the first part of his kindergarten year. Now, for the rest of the year, we're going to be doing unit studies. So we're taking topics like the human body, space, paleontology, matter, animals, and just working our way through those with different activities, experiments, and books. So to determine those topics and also to use as reference books, I have a couple of those books here with me right now. One is the Little Kids First Big Book of Science by National Geographic. These big books of space, weather, science, ocean. These are really great reference books to have, and it was an easy way for me to just go through the table of contents and figure out which topics we could possibly cover in science this year. Another book that we have, shout out to my sister for purchasing this for Bernie, is the Berenstain Bears Big Book of Science and Nature. Bernie loves the Berenstain Bears, and this book goes through different topics of science with Professor Actual Factual, and really, you know, they take Brother Bear and Sister Bear through all of these, giving information about each one. And it's a way for me to connect a topic, or in this case, characters that Bernie really likes, to a subject to continue to pique his interest and keep him engaged in what we're learning. The last two things that I have for science are workbooks that we'll be using. So we'll probably be doing experiments, and then we may have one or two workbook pages that we use. One is a great combo of both, which is Tinkeractive. This is such a cute little series. They have them for more than just science. They have them for English and math as well. And so they have these neat little characters. Oh, ring light, sorry. They have these neat little characters. They go through the book and it covers different topics. So you'll have, you know, your traditional workbook pages, right? Where this one's about severe weather. And there's a couple of pages of that. But then when you get to the end of the section, they will have instructions on tinkering, which is basically the STEM component of whatever you're learning. So in this instance, they're making a tiny tornado. So it really, again, gives us some more activities, hands-on experiments that we can add to what we're learning in science right now. And then again, you can have stickers to become a tinker expert. And then there's like a badge when you actually finish the entire book, which we haven't popped out yet, obviously, because we haven't used it. The last workbook that I have, and you can probably guess, is Evan Moore. So again, we love Evan Moore. We have their science skill sharpener for kindergarten. And again, just taking a look in it, one of the things I really liked about it is that they have like a poem and a chant at the beginning of every section. So you can get a little something extra into the things that you're covering with your child. And I don't know if your child is anything like Bernie, rhymes stick in his head. It helps him remember facts. So I really like that part of the book. But then it just goes through, you know, the workbook pages that they have. And then I believe they also have some experiments. So this one is talking about a food's taste, smell, texture, or appearance. And you're kind of doing a little experiment. It's either yummy or yucky, and your child is able to fill out which ones are yummy or yucky to them. Similar to science, I do not have an open and go curriculum for social studies / geography this year. We are kind of taking it in chunks, similar to what we're doing with science. So for the first part of the year, we're starting with things that are immediate to Bernie. So we're going to talk a lot about our families, our community, jobs, our town, our state. We're going to talk about safety with him, and also about our race and culture. And so that's going to comprise the first maybe term and a half of our kindergarten year. And it's really just to kind of set the stage for his world as we continue to open it up to the wider world. Now I have two things that I'm going to be using when it comes time to open it up outside of Bernie's immediate world. Now for geography, Evan Moore, we're going to be working our way through this book. And so I actually bought this last year because I didn't realize they had a pre-K skill sharpener Evan Moore, and I realized it very quickly because this was a little bit beyond where Bernie was last year, but it won't be for this year. And this is just a beginning geography book. So what it goes through, and I'll find the table of contents really quick, it goes through map skills, landforms and bodies of water, continents and oceans, and then going around the world with animals. And these are what some of the workbook pages look like. Here's just a couple of landforms that are there, and these are actually cards that you can cut out and your child can reference them. I think they may go into a little book actually. These are some coloring pages that they have. There's some things about continents in here. Here's a different, continent matching activity. And it also comes with a, I'm going to try to hold this up, handy dandy little map. It's kind of awkward the way that they have it in the book. I haven't taken it out yet. But we're basically just going to work our way through this. When it comes time for actually looking at specific countries, we'll end our year kind of going around the world, learning about different countries on, in this book, not on this book, but in this book, the Smithsonian Children's Illustrated Atlas. So this is our spine, if you will, for around the world. And essentially we'll choose a country. I believe I've chosen maybe 3 or 4 countries from every continent, but these are really beautiful reference pages. So you'll be able to see that they have a map, and then there's tons of facts about each country as you go through it. And then between each continent, they also have really nice just general reference pages. This one shows like natural wonders that you can look at. And it's a lovely reference book that we're just going to be using as the spine to travel around the world and learn about different countries and their cultures. I'll obviously supplement with other videos, books, and activities, but this is a really great starting point, and I'd highly recommend it. If you don't have an atlas yet, this is a really great one to have. To round out Bernie's kindergarten year, I'm going to touch on what we have for Spanish and then also what we have for art. So I found this book on Amazon. It's called Teach Them Spanish. And I believe, this is just grade K. I believe they do have higher levels, so once like 1st, 2nd grade, I believe they do have higher grades for this book. But I loved it because, again, I was feeling uncomfortable about actually teaching and how to teach this to Bernie. And if I could find the page, here it is. They have lesson plans in the book for you. So it goes through the topic, it goes through what pages you may need in the workbook, and it also goes through songs, and it provides additional books that you can get to supplement the concepts that you're teaching. And so they just have, you know, regular workbook pages, what you would normally see. The thing about this is the actual workbook pages aren't anything special. I think the value from this comes in the lesson planning, the additional activities it provides to help support the workbook pages, and then also the book list in here is actually pretty exhaustive. You know, they break it up by no, that's not it. Here we go. Supplemental books with lessons. They break it up by each concept that you're teaching in the book. And I was, you know, just playing around on thrift books the other day to see how many of them I could find. And I was actually able to find the majority of them on thrift books. So this is what we're going to be using for Spanish. Bernie has no Spanish right now. We're probably going to do it 1 to 2 days a week. We'll just kind of see how it goes with him, but we will be using Teach Them Spanish, and this is a Carson DeLosa product. For art, we're actually going to be doing a couple of different things with Bernie this year. So for the majority of the year, he's actually going to be in a co-op class, and he will be taking musical theater, dance, a music class, as well as a drama class. So he'll definitely get a lot of art exposure just through those classes that he's going to be taking. So we're actually going to focus more on visual art at home. And to do that, I picked up a couple of things. One that we're starting the year off with is this book. It's a Vincent van Gogh art masterclass. So I believe they have these art masterclass books for different artists. The reason that we chose Van Gogh is because there is like this immersive Van Gogh experience that's coming to a city near us. So we're going to spend the first part of our visual arts curriculum just learning about Van Gogh, his techniques that he used, and who he was as an artist. And in this particular book, I believe there are 12 different exercises. So each lesson will just take a different exercise. This one is practicing different types of lines that Van Gogh might have used, and then drawing some things on the paper. And then eventually it works its way up to you creating your own collection inspired by Van Gogh's process and techniques. And so we'll be using this leading up to our Van Gogh exhibit that we're going to be going to. After that point, we'll be using this book, Discovering Great Artists. Now, ooh, there's a glare. Now, this book got some mixed reviews on Amazon at first, when it was first published, because they didn't show pictures of the actual artwork, but now they do. So for this one, I have this one bookmarked, but this one is Henry Rousseau. This is a painting of his, and it's talking about creating jungle art and exercises. So essentially it gives the artist some information about the artist, and then an activity that your child can do to, you know, show mastery of the concept, try it out for themselves. So there are a ton of these activities. You can see I've already got a bunch of them flagged for what we'd like to do this year. And so we're going to work our way through this book as well. The last thing that I have for art, which I really like, and I think Bernie's going to really like too, I found it at Five Below. So if you haven't been to a Five Below that is near you, definitely check them out because they have a lot of great education resources. And I picked up this Mom and Me, an art journal to share. And Bernie loves, you know, to do anything where we're working together, where we're sharing with each other. And, you know, I love doing that as well because I love spending time with my little guy. But it's an art book where, you know, there's a page for mommy and then there's a page for the child to complete. And it just goes through different exercises. And it's actually a pretty wide array of, you know, things that they're asking you to complete. Like this one is about draw something that makes you feel sad. So it's also getting into emotions and memories, things that are a little bit deeper than you draw a cat and I draw a cat, which there's nothing wrong with doing that. But I did like that it takes it a little bit deeper and really forms those strong connections with the child. So we're also going to be working our way through this year. And I have high hopes for it, so I really hope it delivers because I'm really excited about it, and I know Bernie will be too once I show it to him. And that is Bernie's kindergarten curriculum. Obviously, that's not all that I've picked up because I have a homeschool shopping problem. However, those were the big rocks, the big resources, the big books that I wanted to show you guys today. Please keep in mind, I do have a deep dive into science coming up. I will be posting that video Go into the comments and let me know if you'd like me to do a deep dive on anything else that we're covering this year. I really don't mind doing another video to show you guys what we have. If you found this video helpful, please click that like button, give us a thumbs up. Please share this with others that you think would find this helpful, and also go and click that subscribe button and the bell notification so that you can see the next time that I put out some content. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. This is a labor of love and passion around homeschooling, and me hoping that what I'm sharing is helping someone else. Until next time, thank you and be blessed.